I've been studying at Brighton and Sussex Medical School for almost 6 months now. Not only did I see what the course had to offer, but I also experienced what it's like to be a student living there from London. So in this video, I'm going to go through my pros and cons of studying medicine at BSMS, from how the course is structured, what the campus and city is like, and a few other things that you don't want to miss. And at the end, I'll talk about who I think BSMS is best suited for, because it's not for everyone. One of the biggest strengths of BSMS is how early you get clinical exposure. In first year, you're already developing your communication skills, taking patient histories, and applying what you learn in lectures in real life scenarios within small groups. BSMS also has an integrated course structure, which means that you're not just sitting in lectures all the time before seeing patients. You simply just learn something in lectures and then apply it in real life situations. For example, in lectures we've learnt about asthma, COPD and spirometry, and not too soon later, during one of my GP placements, I actually saw patients with those exact conditions. I even saw the spirometry graphs after the patient was examined, and it was the exact same graphs as the ones we've seen in lectures, which is really crazy because not only did it help consolidate all the content, but you really get to see how the content you're learning is actually something that's constantly being used in real life situations. It just shows that the content you're learning is actually being used to help patients. We also get full body cadaveric dissections, and honestly I think this is what makes BSMS really stand out from all the other UK universities, because not many universities now offer full body cadaveric dissections. We usually have them every Friday, and I honestly find it really helpful just being able to physically see the anatomy that you've learned lectures in real life. Just really helps with that consolidation, and also just really helps with understanding, because you can actually see where you can see it's located in the body, which just helps with application. Being able to physically identify structures yourself just makes the anatomy a lot more easier to understand, especially when it gets a bit overwhelming. Honestly, it's just a huge privilege that I'm able to carry out full-body cadaveric dissection as a first-year medical student. I think it was like within my second week of studying at BSMS, that's when we were introduced to full-body cadaveric dissection. And while it can be a bit scary at first, the more you do it, the more you get used to it. And now, every Friday when we do it, I'm actually looking forward to that session. Another thing about BSMS is that I genuinely appreciate how seriously they take student feedback. They have a dedicated system where you can just post any feedback you have, and every term we have a lecture just going through all the feedback, and if you have any questions you can just ask the phase lead leading the session anything that you may want to add that could be improved. And it just feels like that the course is constantly improving, which probably explains why they have such a high student satisfaction rate. In terms of the campus, as a BSMS student, you have access to both the University of Sussex and the University of Brighton campuses. I personally prefer the University of Sussex campus because it has a lot of open green space, which looks amazing when it's sunny outside. And the city in general, Brighton is a student city. There's always something to do, even if you're not into clubbing or drinking. I've had some of the best evenings by just doing simple things like going bowling with my friends or just walking alongside the beach, which can be really relaxing. Transport links are also solid in Brighton, not too different from London really, as you do have buses constantly going around, which makes traveling a lot easier, and you can even take the train if you want to get to the city centre quickly. One thing I want to add is that if you need to travel to your, let's say, GP placement, BSMS will also reimburse you for your travels if you do meet the eligibility requirements. And in terms of support, BSMS does have good systems in place if you're struggling with anything personal or just academically. BSMS also has this system called Medic Family, where in your first term, if you sign up for it, you can get assigned a medic parent from someone who's in second year. And I honestly really like this system because your medic parent has just gone through what you're about to go through. So you can just ask them for any questions if you ever need any help, or even just like hang out with them as well. One of my medic parents is actually a barber, which just goes to show that you may find really interesting people. Of course, no medical school is perfect, So there are a few things to consider before deciding to apply to BSMS. The first thing you need to consider is that Brighton is expensive. I would say it's pretty much just London by the beach. Rent especially is pretty high. I've got a max maintenance loan, and even with that, I still have to budget carefully. If cost of living is a major factor for you, then this is something to consider. Because Brighton is by the sea, the weather can be a bit unpredictable. You have some days where it's nice and sunny outside, and other days it may just be completely pouring and you just end up being completely drenched when going to lectures. It doesn't bother me too much since the weather isn't too different in London, but it is something worth mentioning. While I personally enjoy the integrated structure BSMS offers, it might not be something for everyone. For example, Mondays to Thursdays, that's when I mainly have lectures. Tuesdays, that's when I have like clinical practice within small groups where we work on communication skills, learning how to take patient histories. Wednesday is our academic skills day where we either work on an essay or have a student selected component, which is just a module that you choose. And Fridays is usually our full body cadaveric dissections. Now for some people that might sound like a lot and definitely can be a bit overwhelming, but I like the balance of just having lots of different things, making it a bit more varied, and definitely makes medical school a lot more interesting. We also have Wednesdays half off, so we have time for sports, for example, or any other interest that we want to pursue. But if you prefer very traditional course structures where you just learn all the content first and then just do the clinical application, then BSMS might feel too hands-on for you early on. So who do I think BSMS is best suited for? I would say it's great if you learn best from actually applying the content after learning it, and if you really prefer interactive and hands-on learning, and you also appreciate the structured feedback and support, and you also want a student city with a good social life balance. I would say BSMS is not ideal for you if you prefer very traditional learning where you mainly have lectures and you want to live in a more cheaper area and also just don't really enjoy early clinical exposure. Hopefully this video helped you decide whether you want to apply to BSMS or not. If you want more honest videos about what it's like to study at BSMS and what it's like to be a medical student, then make sure to subscribe. And also comment if you got any questions and are also applying to BSMS. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.